Hello and welcome to our kitchen. I'm Johnny, this is Manny, and today we're going to be showing you some of our signature taco recipes that we have tried and tested on our food truck and our restaurant in Denver, Colorado. We are Taco Bron. So, the first recipe that we're going to take you through is the history of tacos. It's the al pastor taco, originated in Mexico and one of the classics that you can find almost anywhere that sells tacos. Then from there, we're going to take you to the south of the border near Baja California, where we're going to be making a Baja beer battered fish taco. Then after that, we have our twist on a Miami classic, which is the Cubano sandwich. That Cubano sandwich, we're going to take that same pork and we're going to slow roast it in the oven for 12, 13 hours until we've got a nice, juicy, tender meat, and we're going to throw that into a taco for you. So stay tuned to check out all these recipes. All right, so the first thing we gotta do is get our mojo pork ready. Right here, what I've got is a slice of pork butt. You can use different cut if you'd like, but typically I recommend the pork butt just because it's got a good amount of fat cap on it. And we're gonna be slow roasting this in the oven, so it's gonna give all that fat enough time to render, and those flavors are gonna sink into the pork, and it's gonna give it some awesome flavor. Right now, what we're working with here is mint, cilantro, garlic, lime juice, orange juice, olive oil. We've got our spices here, which will be oregano, cumin, and then we've got a salt and pepper mix as well. So the first thing we got to do is score our meat. We're just gonna get in here, get some nice checkered patterns. And the reason we're doing this is so that we can really get the flavor in there and all the seasoning in every little nook and cranny. Okay, so then we're gonna go the other way.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's the whole idea of making the checker cuts?
Well, yeah, so the reason we're scoring it like this is we want to get our fingers in there and cover every single piece of the meat that we can with as much flavoring and seasoning as
with the marinade.
With the marinade, yeah. Exactly. Okay. So I'm going to get this in our pan, and then we're just going to salt and pepper this real quick. So I'm going to take this glove off. And don't be afraid to just douse it in this because it's a big piece of meat. So there's a lot of meat that needs to get seasoned. Once this is slow cooking in the oven, all the juices are gonna pour out of the pork, and then once we shred it, we're gonna mix it in with that juice, and it's gonna be awesome.
So kind of like setting up like a rub.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We're basically doing like a deep rub on the pork, but just salt and pepper. Now, the interesting thing is the whole reason we have this recipe is actually because we were big fans of the movie Chef. Now, the movie Chef was all about food trucks. It's about a chef that starts a food truck with his son. And the funny thing is that we have a very similar story. You know, I'm Johnny, this is Manny, he's my dad. We've been working together for, I don't know, 8, 9 years on the food truck and then now in the restaurant. And when that movie came out, we really knew, we were like, oh man, I love that Cubano. I love like the flavors that they bring and the marinade. Let's try and make something like that on the truck, right? And that's where we got this recipe. Sweet. So once this is all peppered up, seasoned up, we're just gonna let it sit while we blend all of this other stuff together, and we'll get this in the oven as soon as possible because it's gonna need some time. Perfect. You mind just grabbing this, put it over there? All right, so it might get a little noisy, but we're gonna start with blending what is going to be our mojo marinade. This is all pre-measured already. Right here we've got about a half cup of mint. You don't really have to mince it, you can just break it up and throw it in. This is about a full cup of cilantro. Same thing, just toss it in there. We've got about 7 to 12 cloves of garlic. That can also go in whole. Obviously, since we're blending this whole thing, it's not too big of a deal. 1 cup of olive oil, 1 cup of lime juice.
Oh, this is going to be really citrusy.
Oh yeah. So the reason this recipe has so much citrus is because we're using a fattier piece of meat on the pork. It's got a lot of fat to it, and the citric acid from the pineapple juice, from the orange juice and the lime juice, they're going to help break that down and tenderize it so that it has a feel like it's a nicer cut of meat, you know? So we got our oregano, cumin, And then this is salt and pepper that we just mixed together. So that's all going in there. We'll get this blended and then we'll be back showing you what we're doing it when we're rubbing it and dousing it in that sauce, okay? All right, sweet. So let's go ahead and grab that pork and we're gonna get it covered in our mojo marinade. This is a super special sauce. So first thing I'm gonna do is just pour it right on top, but then we wanna work it into all of those crevices that we made. You know, we wanna get it in there because like I said, this is meant to tenderize the meat. It's got pineapple juice, it's got, orange juice and lime juice. I don't know why I keep saying pineapple. That's for later when we're making our al pastor. So yep, flip it over. There we go. And it's going to be extra. Obviously, we want it like swimming in this marinade because since it's gonna slow cook for so long, we're gonna shred the meat and mix it into that oil and that fat and that juice. All of that stuff's gonna get mixed in. It's gonna give it a ton of flavor.
Oh man, that smells good already.
Oh yeah. It's got super sweet flavor, super sweet smell.
Wow.
So this is what you want it to look like. We've got it covered in pepper, salt, and then we've rubbed it down, given it a good rub.
Or you can tilt it so they can pretty much get an idea, like, you know, what this is looking before going into the oven.
Yep, so we're about to toss it in the oven. You want to preheat your oven to 225. This is going to be a low and slow. We're making pulled pork, and the most important part about pulled pork is making sure that you cook it on a low temperature for a long time. Or else you get something similar to like pork loin or like steaks, but we're gonna cover it up. We've got our oven already preheated, so we're gonna throw that in there. And once it hits an internal temperature of about 195 to 200 degrees, we're gonna pull it out, show you how beautiful it's gonna look, and then we're gonna shred it and get it ready for the tacos.
Okay guys, so we are at the part where we're gonna start making our pastor marinade. And it's a little intricate with a lot of spices that we have, and I'm gonna go through them so you know what we put in our recipe of pastor. First, we have I'm gonna start with the citrus juices that we use. We have pineapple juice, we have orange juice, we have vinegar, white distilled vinegar, oil, a vegetable oil. Then we would put on the spices. We have some cloves, pepper seeds. We're boiling something over there. We got oregano.
Your chili's ready.
Oregano. So oregano is like, then for a lot of people that cannot get this is annatto seeds, which gives it like a body and a color to the marinade. So here we also have it in a paste. So if you cannot find the seeds, you can also find it in your local Mexican stores, you know, the achote paste. Then we have cinnamon sticks that we put in there, a little bit of bay leaves for flavor as well. And this is one of the spices that I have, like, you know, a problem pronouncing. This is like
ginger.
Ginger. Here we go.
We got ground ginger.
Ground ginger, and then we have a little bit of cumin, and then we have the salt. We have the salt here, and for all we have like the raw garlic and peeled. The star of the ingredient of this marinade is the guajillo chilies, and this is a chili that's used like in different foods in Mexico. You know?
Yeah, so the guajillo chili is one of the most popular chilies in Mexico because it's got a very like fruity and sweet taste to it, and like a medium level of spice. So it makes it very easy to use for a bunch of different recipes. You can throw it in your salsa, you can throw it in guisos, you have it for a bunch of different things. And so today that is going to be the star of our blend, our al pastor blend. So tell me, how did you figure out this recipe? Like, how did you what was the process, you know? Because like we were not stars at this at first, you know. It took a lot of trial and error in figuring out how to make this as authentic as the tacos that we had when we went to Mexico. Because that's what's important to us, is just making sure that all the flavors come out as true and tested as possible to what is how it's supposed to taste, you know? So talk about that. Yeah. I'm gonna get the guajillo chilies going.
You got it. This is one of my favorite tacos, actually, and one of the most popular tacos in Mexico City. So it's just like, you know, trial and error, you know, tasting different recipes until we finally like nail it down with all the ingredients that this marinade brings. So the chili guajillo, when you get them, they're gonna come dry. So what we do to dehydrate them, we boil them, and then we take all the seeds out, because if you leave the seeds out, it will make the marinade a little like bitter, and you don't want to do that. So Johnny's like prepping the chili guajillos right from the boil. So I'm gonna start blending and doing our marinade. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll start with the citrusy juices. So this is about a cup of pineapple juice, and this is about a cup of orange juice, you know. And here we have about half a cup of vinegar, the same with the oil. So a lot of people ask us, well, what does the citrusy juices do, like the pineapple and the orange? What that does is it helps breaks the muscles or the fat of the pork butt that we're going to use, and makes it like more tender. So here we have some cloves. I would say about a teaspoon of cloves. The same, about half a teaspoon of peppers. We have about a teaspoon of oregano. We'll put like 2 bay leaves. And then here you want to be a little generous with the cinnamon sticks. We have this will be like half a spoon of ginger and powder. And then we have the cumin, which is like, you know, you can do like 1 tablespoon of that, or 1 teaspoon, I'm sorry. Then salt to whatever you decide, you know, what's good salt for you or not. And then we have, we want to be generous, maybe on the garlic.
Can't go wrong with too much garlic, let's be honest. Everyone loves garlic. It adds a ton of flavor to anything you're making. And then something else that I want to go back to real quick is it's really important that you're using the guajillo chilies for this recipe, because most places that sell al pastor tacos, or adobo tacos is what they call them, typically they're just using that achiote paste that we put in there as well. And while it does have good amounts of flavor, it's not giving you that that
authentic
that
taste.
X factor, X factor that you need for it to taste like true al pastor, al trompo from Mexico, you know? So the chili guajillo peppers, you can buy them in almost any Latin supermarket, and even some regular markets as well. So don't think it's that hard of an ingredient to find. So he's gonna get that blended up, and then we are going to come back to you with our filleted pork, and we're gonna get that marinated, and then check back in with you with all of our other recipes that we got started, okay?
So here we go. Okay, so finally we got all the spices put together and blended for our marinade. And Chef Johnny here has, what have you done here?
Yep, so first of all, I have to say, it smells so good. The achiote, the pineapple juice, it smells like sweet and tangy. I cannot wait. This is also one of my favorite tacos. So like, if I talk a lot about it, it's for a good reason. Today we're using a pork butt. This is, we're cutting it about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick. And from there, we're just gonna put it in a bowl, and we're gonna pour all of this marinade right on top of it. We don't need to put salt or pepper on it right now, because once we get it on the grill, that's when we're gonna salt and pepper it.
Yeah.
So for right now, he's just pouring the marinade on there, and be generous with it, you know? Just coat the entire thing. It's gonna give a beautiful color to it, and then we just need to get up and in there. Get your hands in it, yeah.
Has that coloring.
Yep. Now that color that you see that is just like authentic, that's the staple for al pastor, that color comes from the achiote and from the guajillo chilies. So the reason we cut it like this as well is typically you'll be throwing this on a trompo, which is, I don't know the English word for it.
It's a kebab.
Yeah, it's like a kebab. It's like a meat rotisserie thing. So you want it to be thinner slices so that you can stack it on top and on top and on top. And then to end that off, you typically have a pineapple on top that's dripping pineapple juice onto the entire thing. Now, we don't have a trompo in this kitchen, but we are bringing it as close to that style as we can. We're gonna grill it up on the grill, and then we're gonna dice it small and get it ready for some tacos. So since we've got this sitting here, marinating, ready to go, we're just gonna let that sit and start our beer batter for our fish while this gets the time it needs to just really soak up the flavors and just be full of awesome flavors.
I can't
There's no other word to say.
Getting hungry already.
All right, yeah,
All right.
sweet. So
Great.
we're gonna get the beer batter going, okay? All right, sweet. So we've got the pastor going and we've got the cubano going. The last thing we need to get started is the beer batter for our fish tacos. So I'm gonna take you through that, and in the meantime, he's gonna be slicing our fish to the right size that we need for that. So the first thing we've got here, and this is the secret to making your beer batter as crispy as possible. A lot of people use only flour. We actually use a 50-50 blend of half flour, half cornstarch. Now what this does is just give it like a really good crunch flavor, and it's got the same texture as flour, so it's not doing too much different. And then this is a real simple one too. We just got garlic powder, salt, pepper, and then our beer. Oh, and then we gotta put some Old Bay in there. Old Bay is good, it's a classic. You don't have to put this in if you don't want to, but I definitely recommend it for any sort of fry, any sort of fish, or any sort of meat, honestly. So from there, first thing we're gonna do is mix our dry ingredients together, give it a good mix, make sure it's all incorporated. And the other reason we do this is to make sure that we're breaking down the clumps in the flour so that once we add our liquids, it's not as clumpy, it just comes out nice and smooth. So now I add my beer. And for us, we typically use something like a Mexican lager or like a Pilsner, something lighter, but it really depends on what kind of fish you want and the kind of texture that you want. Because you can use a darker beer like a Guinness or even like an amber if you like, but we want to keep it light, fluffy, and crispy. Because, you know, this is a recipe from Baja California, and down there it's hot all the time. So we want to keep it light, fresh, and just super flavorful. So if you see how he's cutting the fish, that's the perfect length for how we want our fish.
Little strips.
Yep, little strips, because then from there we're going to mix it with this batter and we're going to fry it.
You can see it right here.
Yep. So this batter's looking a little bit thick, so I am going to grab a little more beer. We want this to come out a bit more watery than this. Right now it's looking like cake. We need it to run off the spatula just a bit more than what it is right now. So I'm gonna go grab that.
Yeah, and with the fish, you're welcome to use any type of white fish that you like. You can use cod, you can use tilapia, or any fish of your like, actually. Just make sure that you cut it like in thin pieces, so when you batter this into the batter, then it's a lot easier to fry, and it fries like really easy and fast. And then also when you're topping the tacos too, it's a lot easier to place them in the tortilla.
So with the batter too, since it is carbonated, typically I recommend either you use a beer that's flat or you just give the batter about 20 minutes after you're done making it. And the reason for that is that the carbonation can mess with the flavors and then also cause the batter to not stick completely to the fish when we're frying it. And that's really important. So now this is good to go. I've added a little bit more beer and we've got that runny. That's what we want.
So once you set the beer batter, then what's next with the fish? What do you do with the fish?
So with the fish, we definitely want to get some seasoning on there as well. So we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to add salt and pepper to this. And the batter has it, the fish has it. The reason we do that is just to make sure that each component has some sort of seasoning and flavor so that everything's coming out super flavorful.
Every bite, you know, has a punch to it. Yeah.
Exactly, every bite. So let me get you some more pepper right here.
Okay.
Yep, so we're just getting this all seasoned up.
Nice.
All right, sweet. So we've got all the main components of all three of our tacos ready. that means we get to the fun part now. We're gonna start cooking all the good stuff, and we're gonna have ourselves a taco party. So let's do this.
Okay guys, so the next thing we're gonna do is gonna be the taquera sauce, which is a special chili sauce that we put in our tacos. And this is a typical salsa that's made in, or is given to every taco in Mexico City or anywhere that has like really good tacos. So I'm gonna start, it has a little bit of onions. I'm gonna chop the onions real quick. We have cilantro, we have natural garlic, tomatoes, we have tomatillos. I don't know what this is called, the green tomatoes, I guess, they call it tomatillos. And then the star of the sauce is this chili right here. If you can see, this is called chile de árbol, like chili of the tree, translates to that. This is a dry chili, but it's really spicy. So a lot of times it's like roasted, toasted, so it brings like smoky flavor to it. And all this is put together, boil. And then once it comes to a boil, then we'll blend it, and then we'll add the salt, pepper, and it's ready to go. It's really simple. So I'll start with this, and then I'll show you how we bring this into the boil real quick. So we have the onions. Just like usually I cook better when I'm off camera, but this is try to put it together. So here, just bring the onions, put the onions into a boil. So I have already cleaned the tomatoes, the green tomatoes, goes into the pot. Here, same with the full tomatoes. Just put about 4 tomatoes here. And then here, like Johnny was saying, just put in the cilantro here, a couple of cloves of garlic, and then all this is going to come to a boil. So once this comes to a boil, just to have everything pretty much cooked, then we're going to bring it and we're just going to blend it. After this is blended, we'll just add like the salt, pepper, and a little more garlic just to give it that kick. And this is the salsa taquera, really simple and fast. Well, we just bring the tomatoes and all the ingredients to a boil, for maybe 15 minutes. Once it's ready, we just blend it, and the salsa taquera that we're going to use for our taco, and voila, that's it.
All right, so the cubano, we showed you how to make it. Now we are pulling it out of the oven. It is ready to go.
Hot.
It is hot, so we got to be real careful when we're doing this.
Here we go.
The way that we know it's done, yeah, just right on top of here, perfect, is internal temp was about 197 when we took it out. So we know that it's ready. Let's take a look at this, see what we got. There
wow.
we go.
You can smell this.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Have the honors. There you go.
Thank you.
Careful.
Yep, so the first thing we're going to do actually is just take off some of this fat. The fat we leave on while we're cooking it because we want it to render and get all that juice onto the pork, but we don't really need this fat for the actual meat, so we're just going to toss some of that stuff on top. Man, but this is fall off the bone ready. You can just see from me taking off this fat right now that it is just wanting to fall apart. Now, I would just with my hands show you that it's fall apart, but it is really freaking hot.
Want to dig in?
Yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead. Start shredding it up.
You can start seeing this, how it comes together, how it comes apart.
Yep. And then
Like
this
shredder.
is full of pork juice and all of that marinade mojo sauce that we'd made. We keep all of that. And the reason why is as we're shredding this, we're gonna mix it all together and incorporate the flavors of the juice into the pork.
It's coming together. It's coming apart.
Yeah.
Really, really easy, nice.
Sweet, so we're gonna get this shredded and covered in the sauce, and we're gonna be back.
Okay, so now we just got the pot out of the stove with all the cooked ingredients for the salsa taquera. And now we're just gonna blend it all together and get all the good flavors it's gonna top the tacos with. So here we go. Let me see here. Here we go. We have this blended. We just want to make sure that, you know, that we blend it to an extent that's all consistency. The consistency is all put together, well blend. As you can just see here, what the salsa taquera will be coming of that. So all we have to do is just put salt, pepper, and just a little pinch of garlic, and that would be it. So.
Sweet. So right now what I've got going on behind me is we are frying the beer battered fish, getting it ready for our tacos. We're super excited. We've got all our toppings made. Let me just run you through them while he's doing that. Right here is a citrus coleslaw. This is going to go on our beer battered fish taco. It's got jalapenos, cilantro, a little bit of salt, pepper, and then most importantly, pineapple juice. So that mixed in with like the purple cabbage, the shredded carrot, and the regular cabbage is going to give us a really good crunch on top of the crunch of the fish. And it's going to give us a really nice sweet flavor to counteract the bitterness of like the fishiness of the fish and then the bitterness of the beer. And then that also will get topped off with our signature sauce, which is our cilantro ranch. I'm super excited for that. For our other tacos, you saw we already made the salsa for our al pastor tacos. That just gets covered with your classic onion, cilantro, and then we've got cucumbers and rabanitos on the side. And then for the cubano taco, we will be doing a Swiss cheese and a pickled onion. And then with that, we also just use our red salsa because we think it's got such a great kick to add to that salsa. So that's all of our toppings, and we're super excited. We've got the fish frying. We're about to do the al pastor. Everything's coming together. That's my favorite part. You know, as much as I love cooking, the best part is when everything comes together and you get to make those tacos. It's fun. It's like build your taco station thing that we got going on. So yeah, we'll check back in with you in a bit. We're frying the fish up, and we'll see you soon. So right now, we're throwing the al pastor on the grill. Oh man, once again, the smells alone make me excited to eat this. So like I said before, we did not salt it. So we're gonna throw a little bit of salt on each side, okay? And then for this, what's really interesting is earlier when I was talking about the trompo, a lot of people don't realize this, but al pastor tacos are originally from the Lebanese people. So the Lebanese people that had migrated from their country down to Mexico ended up bringing with them al pastor, and they brought the trompo, which is where you stack it all on there in like Euro style. Now, what's funny is that the Lebanese people, they didn't have tortillas, they had like their own form of bread, like their wraps or whatever, pita, and they would eat it in that. So when they brought that over to Mexico, they ended up just changing it from whatever that was to a tortilla. And that tortilla, and that's the whole reason we have al pastor tacos. So it's a funny story, but al pastor is originally from the Lebanese people. So thank you for giving us a national treasure, which is these tacos. So we got a good grill going. We're gonna wait just a little bit longer before we flip them. We want this to be extra crispy. So since it's got a lot of fat on there, we let it marinate for about half an hour before we threw it on the grill. That marinade helps tenderize it, but at the same time we still want to cook our way through, make sure everything is nice and juicy and crispy, you know? Hey, what's going on? We are at the final step. We are going to combine all of these amazing things that we made today into tacos. So the first taco we're going to start with is actually our beer battered fish taco. He's been toasting up some tortillas. Now, these tortillas, they're as authentic as they can get. We bring them from our tortilleria in Colorado. They're just the perfect blend, and they're soft, and just really feels like you're eating tortillas made by like an abuelita or something, you know?
Actually made for us. Actually.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna set up 3 here because I'm pretty hungry. So we're gonna do 3 of them, right? So this is the fish that you saw us frying earlier. It's that beer battered fish. We're gonna do 2 pieces per taco, maybe 3 if they're a little mini, you know. And this fish is super crunchy. Super crunchy, and like I said, that cornstarch and that beer, that's the secret to making it crunchy. Is you don't want to use just flour.
That's right.
You want to give it like a 50-50 blend of cornstarch and flour. And a lot of other people, they typically coat their fish in flour before frying it, but we actually avoid that step just because we felt like it was making our fish come out like a bit cakey, and we don't want that. We want that like crunch factor.
Crunchy, yes.
So the first we got here is the fish. Next is this coleslaw that we made. Now typically coleslaw, people like to put like mayonnaise or some sort of cream in it. We try to avoid that. We want it to be as refreshing as possible. So this coleslaw has pineapple juice, lime juice, salt, pepper, and it's got cabbage, jalapeno, cilantro, shredded carrot and shredded cabbage, purple cabbage I should say. Sweet. So that is already looking good. That's what you want. You want a lot of colors. You want it to look attractive. This is one of our best sellers on the food truck. And the reason for that is because on the food truck, we started with a bunch of breweries. And at each brewery, we would end up making a special beer batter using the beer from that brewery. So it didn't matter where you went, the fish taco always had its own unique flavor per brewery that we went to. And it was a big starter. And then something else that a lot of people don't know about the fish tacos is that the Japanese fishermen that would come to California, Baja California, they actually introduced that tempura, like panko, fried fish combo, and the Mexican people, they ate it up. They loved it. So then that's the actual origin of where the fish tacos comes from, you know, is actually Japanese fishermen.
Influence.
Yeah, well, they influenced people here to make it. So let's go ahead and get this drizzled. Oh, yeah.
Also talk about, this is not only like one of our best sellers and the food truck, but also in our restaurant too.
Yep. So if you're ever in Denver, definitely check it out. We are Taco Bron. That is the 2 chefs cooking for you today. And
that's right.
Yeah, I think I just want to dig in.
That's it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right,
yeah.
all right. So like I said, this is our beer battered fish taco. I'm going to do it. Mmm. Oh yeah.
All the citrusy flavors come together. Yep. The beer batter.
So you got the crispiness from the coleslaw, the saltiness from the beer batter, then the fish, the sweetness from the pineapple juice, and then the tanginess from the cilantro ranch. Oh man. And then the tortilla on top of it is just like a warm hug. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna take one bite. You want to try one?
I'm gonna try two.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we take a break?
All right, sweet. So you've had our fish taco. Now it's time to arm and prepare our cubano taco. This is one of my favorite tacos, and it has a story behind it. The reason this taco is so important to me is because one of the reasons that we started the food truck was actually because of a movie called Chef with Jon Favreau, Leguizamo, a bunch of big names. But the premise of the movie is father and son, they start a food truck together, they explore different tastes, they go across the country, and we have a very similar story. You know, both of us love traveling, we've eaten a lot of foods in a lot of different places, and we try to incorporate everything that we've learned into our recipes so that we can share that with you guys. So that's where this taco comes into play. We've got the Cubano taco. Shout out to Jon Favreau and Roy Choi for this one because it is based off of your recipe, but we've added a little bit to it and made it our own. So the Cubano, you saw us doing that earlier, came out of the oven looking absolutely gorgeous. So we're gonna grab some of this meat, load up these tacos, and it's okay if you get a little juice in the tortilla. The reason we use the flour tortilla is to make sure that it's absorbing all of that liquid gold, you know? This is a flavor bomb, you know? All right, so once we've got the meat on there, next thing we're gonna do is put our Swiss cheese. So like I said, this is us trying to imitate a Cubano sandwich as closely as possible. So you've got your pork, then we're gonna put some Swiss cheese on there. Nice. And then we pickled some onions. This is gonna play a role as like the pickles on the sandwich, right? So we've got some pickled onions, we're just gonna top that off. Oh man, this is already so good. So the pickled onions is gonna add sort of like a vinegary, acidic kick to it. And then we've got the sweetness in the pork. It's got like a very floral flavor from the mint and from the cumin and all of the citrus juices that we used. So then from there, we're just gonna add a little bit of cilantro because what's a taco without cilantro, you know? And people who are allergic to cilantro, I feel for you. I'm sorry. But yeah, so then we're gonna get some cilantro in there. And last but not least, the salsa. So let me just grab a spoon for that. So we're gonna get some of this salsa on it. Now this is the salsa taquera, right?
Taquera salsa, yeah? Absolutely.
All right, sweet.
Straight from the streets.
Now the way we make this salsa does have a little bit of heat, but if you want to take off some of that heat, you can just use less of the chilies, or you can just let it, it gets less hot the more time it has been together. So like, let's say it's real hot today, and you can just leave it in the fridge for a couple days, it'll cool down and heat-wise.
Yeah, wait, it's my turn now.
all right.
It's my turn to dig in now.
Tell me what you think, tell me what you think.
Yeah.
I'll wash the tortilla.
Here we go, here we go.
Oh man, no, he's just being dramatic.
No.
Really?
I'm not. Wow.
Well, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. What's the flavors?
A lot of citrusy juices, you know, the pickled onions, the cilantro, and that taquera sauce just bringing the whole taco like a punch in your mouth. You know, it's like so good. Oh,
That's
man.
what we're going for. You know, we're really just trying to make sure all our flavors come through. And people think tacos are simple, and the thing is that they are. But how do you make something simple extra delicious? You take the time in every single step to make sure it comes out good. And that's what we're doing here today. That's what we're showing you so that you can make this at home the way you like it. So we're off to our final taco for the day. It's going to be our al pastor. I am so excited. This is one of our best sellers, and it's one of my favorite tacos personally. So we're going to get that started right now. Sweet. So right now he's working on the tortilla for our al pastor tacos. Now tell us about these tortillas. What makes them so important?
Well, this is the main basis of putting a really good taco together. If anybody knows about, you know, a good street taco, it has to have an nixtamal tortilla, you know. So that's what gives it like the authentic originality flavor from Mexico.
Well, so what is nixtamal? Like, is it like a certain kind of corn, or what's up?
No. Nixtamal is, in English, is like the word I would say will translate to nixtamalization. It's the process, the chemical reaction, how they clean the corn with calcium. And they've been doing that since like the pre-Hispanic eras, the indigenous people. So we have that. And nixtamalization, it happens like in all Latin American countries. So this is what makes our taco elevate to the next level, the nixtamal tortillas. You can just, if you were here, you'd be smelling the smell of like the corn.
Yeah, so one of the most distinct things between a nixtamal tortilla and a normal tortilla is that when you're folding it and eating it, it's going to hold a lot better. It's not going to break apart or fall apart once it's got covered in juice. It's got a super strong corn smell, and that's because that's exactly what it is. It's like a nixtamalization tortilla.
And a lot of,
did I say that right?
Yeah, you got it right. A lot of places now like doing these because they're really natural and they don't put any additives. So the tortillas, if you don't use it like right away, fresh, you know, they tend to go bad right away. That's why a lot of tortilla places don't like selling these. But in our food truck and our restaurant, this is what we serve. You know? And that's what makes us different from the rest. So.
All right, so now we've got some tortillas here.
Ooh,
already making a mess.
Pastor.
So excited.
It's my favorite taco. Well, one of my favorite tacos.
No, this is my favorite taco, you know? And the only other place I've had it as good as ours is genuinely in Mexico. If you've got a place to recommend, please let me know. But until then, I'm going to be eating either my own or I'm going to Mexico when I want al pastor taco.
Oh, if you cannot go to Mexico, if you're just in the States, if you're in Colorado, Denver, come and hit us up and let us know what you think of our pastor. Because we're really proud of it.
So we're loading it up with that meat. And then every taco comes with onion and cilantro. Just white onion diced, cilantro diced as well. Just gonna get a good topping on there. If you make a mess, it's okay. Tacos are meant to be messy. It's a street food.
And you eat it with your hands too.
That's
so
right.
No forks allowed or knives when eating a taco. You know.
Cilantro, and then something else that really just like grinds my gears that people don't do. With al pastor taco specifically, you gotta have pineapple on it. It's gotta have pineapple.
It's a must.
It's not an al pastor taco. It's just an adobo pork taco.
Yeah.
But a lot of places they don't go. They think it's too hard to just add some pineapple to a taco, but it really isn't. You know, and
Fresh pineapple.
fresh cut.
Not out of the can. Fresh. You have to cut it. That makes such a big difference.
Oh yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people forget or they just don't want to add pineapple. And the original pastor taco has pineapple. Oh, here's the best part.
Yep. So this is that same sauce that we use for the cubano.
Taquera sauce.
Taquera sauce.
Yes.
So the al pastor, it's a very sweet meat. It's got pineapple juice. It's got pineapple on top. So this is almost going to give it like that sweet heat kick. It's going to have a little bit of spice and the sweetness from the taco itself. And it's a perfect blend between the two. It's going to have a lot of different flavors. The cilantro, the onion, all of it adds different components to the taste.
Then don't forget at the end,
Of course.
top it with the limes.
Yep.
Which is like the best part.
So every taco, gotta squeeze some limes on there. I'll just put them on the side for now. But we're gonna squeeze limes on there. And the reason we have these two, this is radish and cucumber. Typically this is eaten with any sort of street tacos in Mexico, just for two different reasons. They are a palate cleanser, and then on top of that, they also help with the heat. So typically what happens is, let's say I've had 3 of these tacos, and I'm like, oh man, that is burning my mouth right now. I would just eat a couple handfuls of cucumber, a couple handfuls of radish, and reset. That with a little lime, salt on there, it's amazing. So, here we go. Are we gonna try this one taco?
Go ahead, you go first here. I'll follow you.
All right. So I'm squeezing the lime onto my taco. Here we go. Here, let's cheers this one. Let's cheers.
All right. All right, man. Ready?
Dink it and sink it.
Boom. Mmm.
Okay.
This just took me back to the streets of Mexico. You know, no lie. Been there, and now I'm here, and I'm loving it. Mmm.
I'm speechless. I make this all the time, and it still catches me off guard how good it is. Oh man.
This is our best seller. This is one of our best. Oh, I can taste the charbroil on there.
Oh yeah.
Everything coming together. But you got to see for yourself. So, okay, guys. So this concludes the end of our episode. We have made 3 of our signature tacos, which are our best sellers. So feel free to reach out to us and our website, Instagram. Tell them.
Yep. So we are El Taco Bron. We've got a restaurant and a food truck in downtown Denver. But if you want to follow us on our socials, be sure to hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of that, okay? El Taco Bron is the username for that. You'll find all of this amazing food there. And yeah, we hope that you can recreate this in your own kitchen and have a great day.